you know a lot about making gamelan. Do you do it yourself?
I don't make gamelan myself, but I can tune gamelan myself, which is, I've organised 3 times now a tuning tour of the UK for various institutions. I've gone around the UK with a team of gamelan tuners. I usually work with pujawati, who I was at university with, who I was at music college with. He was 2 years above me, and he tuned the first gamelan. In fact, the gamelan that my friend bought for University College Northampton was the first time he'd tuned a gamelan. His father was a gamelan tuner, but he'd just been a music student, but he had a go. He thought he would try his hand at tuning gamelan with a bit of advice from his brother and his father, and that was his first ever gamelan. This was years and years and years and years ago, and it was my first gamelan that I helped to bring to the UK. And ever after that we've worked together. He's one of the most successful gamelan tuners of his generation, and as he's quite young, he's very, very much in demand now. So he came to the UK and brought to a team each time him and an assistant came to the UK. We've tuned Oxford and Cambridge and Manchester, Royal Northern College of Music, retuned this gamelan, took them inside Peterborough Prison, took them to the Pitville pump rooms in Cheltenham. They've done quite a lot, and I had quite a lot of some very amusing experiences, cross-cultural experiences of Javanese gamelan tuners coming to the UK. Trying to get them into Peterborough Prison with angle grinders and files was one of the more interesting ones. Didn't happen.
Wow, great. Yeah, you've been to Java quite often, and then you've been teaching here. Could you tell us the difference playing gamelan or performing in the UK and performing in Java?
Performing is totally different. Teaching is interestingly enough quite similar. A nice thing for me is, because I go back frequently, maybe twice a year, I am still in contact with many of the people who I went to music college with. Whereas, if you like, the lecturers and very, very few of the students remain teaching at higher institutions like SDSE, it's now called ISI Surakarta, Institute of Seni Indonesia, a high school, an academy, a high academy, if you like, the performing arts. A huge amount of the guys that I was a student with are just gamelan teachers like I am. And it's nice to sit and compare notes and talk about teaching children and teaching adults and teaching community groups and teaching, maybe not students so much because they don't have access to that, because Indonesia is a place with a lot of unemployment, and these days, you know, graduates you need to have at least high school education to get a job in a shop, you know. So an awful lot of people that come out of the universities do not automatically go on to higher level education teaching themselves, as I suppose is the case here in the UK. So a lot of people who came out of music college when music college was young went straight back into teaching. And perhaps people these days who are more highly qualified now struggle to find work as teachers. And so they're teaching a very broad range, a very mixed economy of teaching. So teaching at SMA, SMP, SD, primary school, elementary school, high school, that sort of thing. And it's nice to compare notes and say, how do you approach it? And similar things come up. Patience, cutting your cloth to fit your needs, doing what you can with the people that you've got, encouraging them to feel a sense of community. Obviously there they have much more time. They have the big difference with teaching in Indonesia and teaching in the UK is that long hours, you're tired. Even if you're doing it at school, it'll be an hour a week, every week. Whereas over there, just because it's in the atmosphere, because you're hearing it on the radio, and probably you have access to more groups. So if you're a keen student, you don't have to play just once a week for 2 hours. You could go on Thursday night to somebody else's rehearsal, so long as you don't come back saying, Pat Harjo says you must do it this way. But so it's, you know, you can learn many things from many groups, and so you get much more. Obviously, it's Javanese music, so in Java you expect to have much more exposure to it. But apart from that, music students, and particularly community groups, are the same everywhere. Performance, everybody says, oh yeah, the way to make an amateur group work is to get it lots of performances. So I find that my friends from SDSE are just the same as me. They're scrabbling around to find opportunities to get their amateur groups to go and perform. Somebody's wedding, somebody's circumcision are not the same necessarily here, but finding something to get a performance to go, because performance makes everybody more focused, makes them want to come to rehearsals, makes them want to sit and listen to the gamelan teacher and not just drowse in the corner or just come when they feel like it. So some things are very, very similar. Performance performance at a high level is obviously different. Obviously different, because there people are doing it 5 days a week on a professional basis, whereas professional performers in the UK, maximum 3 or 4 times a year, 5 times a year. So most of their work comes from teaching. And there's not the shared repertoire here. A good, experienced gamelan player can slot into any group and has a huge, huge repertoire. In the UK, probably only about 6 players could do that. 6 or 7 players. A lot of other people, a lot of very, very good gamelan players don't have that sort of vast repertoire that a Javanese gamelan player needs.
How does gamelan affect your life?
It's my job.
It's
how
your
I make
life,
a living.
then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I have a life outside gamelan, which I'm very passionate about, and probably is more relaxing. But and like everybody, if you've been working at something for a long time, sometimes you yearn for the weekend when you can just do the things that you want to do and not have to make money doing so. I love digging my allotment. I love cleaning out my chickens. I love cooking for my friends. But at the same time, when it's good, I get a huge amount of satisfaction when the year comes round to the end and it's the performance season, if you like, and seeing all my groups coming on and seeing them perform something. For a lot of them, it's their hobby, the thing that they do to make them feel that they're alive, not just work machines. So I get a huge sense of satisfaction seeing them enjoying that aspect of it. And also just seeing the social aspects of it grow and come to fruition and flower. Quite often, my groups in Oxford, they when they can't play in term time, out of term time, they'll organise Cleanlingham, where you get gamelan together and you just play at a party, and they always cook beautifully and they're always really pleasant evenings. And so yeah, I do enjoy my work. I wish I didn't have to travel so far.
Pardon?
I wish I didn't have to travel so far. It's because it's very hard to get enough work in one place to sustain a gamelan teacher. I have to travel an awful lot. In the last 3 weeks I have been to Austria, Ireland, flown to Newcastle and back, to Manchester and back, to Bath and back, on top of my weekly routine of teaching in Oxford, coming down to London, going out to Kingston. So it's an awful lot of teaching, an awful lot of travelling. So if I could put it all in one place, I think I'd be the happiest man alive and have time to dig my own.
Impossible.
Impossible. So I have to be very good friends with British Rail.
You can get a discount for that.
No, you can't.